ladies. We're going to jump right into things today as we've got a very exciting guest on and we don't want to waste a single minute. She is famous for being our favourite TV dragon. She runs a hugely successful business, is a crafting whiz, a mum of 2 boys, and what we love the most is that she is always authentically herself. Please welcome the fabulous Sara Davies. Yay! Welcome.
Favourite dragon. Is that right? Or have you just not had Stephen Bartlett on the show yet?
No,
You're the
we
favourite.
have
You'd definitely
the
be our favourite.
Every day.
Absolutely.
How are you?
I totally teed you up for that extra little ego boost, as if I didn't need one after the introduction you'd just given me.
We've got you. Are you well?
Oh, I'm always well. I'm always running around like an absolute loon trying to do 50 million jobs at once, and I have been looking forward all day to just getting in here, sitting chatting with you lot and putting the world to rights.
Yeah,
Yay!
absolutely.
I love That's nice.
You can
well,
chill
we're
out.
absolutely
Welcome.
thrilled, aren't we, girls?
Absolutely. You can chill out for the next
so
hour
excited.
and have a good catch up with us.
Yeah. So talk us through what you've been up to today. Have you done the school run? Because you've got 2 boys, haven't you, yourself?
Did, yeah. So my boys are 9 and 12. So my eldest just gone up into the big school this year, and then my little one's year 4. But in his eyes, he also thinks he's year 7, like his brother, because he's a big kid now and hangs. We all know what that's like, don't we?
Absolutely. Oh,
So I've got one full of beans and a massive handful, and then our Oliver, my eldest, is just sweetness and he's basically just the massive people pleaser that his mum was when he was this age, and they're doing year 7 exams this week, which I mean I don't remember doing any exams in year 7, but so it's not that big of a deal. But it's to get them used to it so that by the time they get to year 11, it doesn't come as a shock doing a week of exams. Well, honestly, it was this kid's got himself so worked up into a bit of a frenzy, and it's killed me as a mother just watching him put himself through it. And I had to have a little chat 2 o'clock this morning when he's shaking in bed and crying and can't sleep and all worked up. I said, sweetheart, I am so much more worried about your worrying than I am worried about the exams. Like you've got to stop worrying about this stuff. And they put so much pressure on themselves, kids these days, don't they?
Oh, they really do. Yeah, because they've all got SATs this week as well. It's all going on.
Yeah, my youngest has got SATs at the minute, and my eldest has got end of year exams as well. It's so tough, and I do get it as well. You know, they're preparing them, aren't they? But it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is. It's really
It's
stressful.
not for these little people to cope with. I think that's the big thing. And I agree with it builds them up, but oh God, love them. So you've got double bubble in your house and with 2 lots of exams going on at the moment.
Absolutely. And it's like you say, you know, it means the world to them, doesn't it? You know, even though you know everything's going to be okay no matter what, but to them it really means a lot. And it's tough.
Yeah. And you can't go in and be, as I used to be a teacher, Sarah, back in the day. I taught French and Spanish to secondary. And as much as you want to say to them, as much as you want to say to them when it's, you know, their GCSEs and stuff, like, don't worry, it's like, it won't matter in sort of, 5 to 10 years. But you can't say that to them because at the time it means it's the whole world, isn't it? And they can't quite see past that. But I had a great conversation with my daughter Nora's head mistress the other day. She'll probably tell me off for saying this on the podcast, but I took Nora out of school, or me and my husband took her out of school for 2 days to take her to London to see Alex Warren. So she's in year 5 and it was her first big concert and she was so excited. So we took her out of school and she didn't want to lie to the school. So I just told the school what she was doing. And, and anyway, and the headmistress came up to me in the playground and she said, oh, how was it? Did you have a good time? I said, oh yeah, she had a lovely time. I said, oh, I'm ever so sorry for missing. She went, it won't matter in a few years. Don't worry about it.
That's a cool teacher right there, isn't it?
That is a cool headmistress.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, bless her. So
it's really important that they have those times though, because that's what gives them the energy and the kind of being able to concentrate on exams. If they've got something else going on and a bit of creativity and a bit of music, it's good for them.
Life experience.
So good on you, Bri.
It's true. I remember when I first started dating Simon, my husband, I was 15. I was doing my GCSEs that year, and he was a couple of years older than me. It was quite the scandal back then, I can tell you. And I can remember one of the cool kids at school coming up to us in the toilets and being like, "Is it true that you're dating a 23-year-old?" And I was like, No, he's 19. But I was like, I saw this cool kid walking towards me in the toilet. I was like, oh my God, she's going to speak to me. She's going to speak to me. What am I going to say? I was one of them kids that didn't dare drink too much during the day in case I had to go into the girls' toilets where all the cool kids were hanging out and I wouldn't know what to do.
Oh my God.
But yes, I can always remember Simon telling us. Like, I was the swotty one who, when it was exam time, I just used to revise every night or whatever. And I remember him saying, oh, no, he played cricket, because he plays cricket. Well, he did when he was a kid. And he didn't want to miss a cricket match. And I was like, oh, my God, but so you would play cricket the night before you had a big exam? He said, yeah, well, if I didn't know it the night before, I wasn't going to know it, was I not? And he obviously saw it. As, you know, it was his, he just needed to keep that balance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's the difference between boys and girls at all? Like, do you think that because you've got 2 boys, haven't you? I've got 2 girls. I don't know whether
we're all girl mums.
Yeah, what's it like with 2 boys?
You're all girl mum.
Yes.
Oh, different kettle. Yeah, I can tell you. So I came waltzing, did the school drop off this morning, and because our Oliver was working to a frenzy, we'd had to go at silly o'clock in case the traffic was bad. So I dropped them off 20 minutes. I dropped him off at the big school and then drove out Charlie round to the junior school, and we were the first kid, I was the first mum in the playground 20 minutes early. So, and then a couple of the other mums arrived who had boys in our Oliver's year. So they've got ones like in the little school. And so I was talking, so 3 of us boy mums having a chat, all talking about how our boys were really struggling and whatnot. Then Daisy's mum came walking up, and I've known Daisy's mum, and I said, oh my word, how was Daisy this morning? And she was just like, oh, she was fine. And it was just... Daisy's the most studious of all the kids. She's the one that we probably all secretly hope our boys want to date when they're old, And her mum was like, oh yeah, she's absolutely fine. And I just thought, there's the difference. He's the 3 boy mums absolutely had to drag their kids through heart palpitations overnight, and Daisy's just cool as a cucumber.
Oh love them.
That's awesome.
Oh, was he all right when you picked him up today?
No, so basically pickup is right now. I am on with you, and because we were recording now, my husband's gone to do the school run, so I'll find out tonight how he is.
He'll get the talk down about it all. Oh, bless him. It's so much harder to watch them go through it.
I think I might make pancakes tonight.
Nice.
Yes, do that.
Treat.
Oh, that's such a nice thing to do.
I do extra special pancakes. I've learned how to, so you're going to love this tip, right? So I always made crepes. You're going to love this, especially Bryony, right? So I've always made crepes, but the boys like these fluffy American pancakes now that the other mums make. So I've had to learn a recipe to make them. And I've found a recipe where you put chocolate spread in the middle so that as you break it open, it's got melted chocolate in.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And then next level, I've bought an egg poaching pan, which you need the one with the lid. So now I can cook 4 of these pancakes and you do a dollop of the mixture. I put a little square of chocolate in, then another dollop of the mixture on top, and you put the lid on, 2 minutes, flip them all over, 2 minutes, you get perfect pancakes. But I needed the egg poaching. The key to it all is this egg poaching pan with a lid on, and I'm like the pancake mummy queen. Like,
oh my God, that's amazing. My mum was trying to fob one of those off on me the other week. I should have said yes.
I'm literally making this note.
I'm like, have you still got that? Yeah.
Yeah, like that's such a good hack. I love a good hack. I'm here for it.
I've written it down.
There you go.
Have you written it down?
I've written it down because my kids love
You'll have to remind us.
a pancake.
I love a
And I may even do that. I may even you've inspired me tonight. That's what they're going to get, pancake tea.
Yeah.
Right, I will send you. Oh, I was going to say, I'm going to send you my pancake recipe. I'm going to send you put a little square of chocolate in.
Yes, please. Thank
Send
you.
Lush.
Sorted.
Oh God, they sound amazing. You've spoken a little bit about being on the school playground. What about the WhatsApp groups? Are you like a watcher? Are they archived? Are you in there asking about the cardigans that are lost?
I can't cope with the level of chit chatting. I can't do it. Yeah, and I mean, we've got small classes as well, so there's no excuse. It's not like there's 30 odd parents. Like there's only 15 of them in the class, and I can't cope with the WhatsApp. So I had to say to a couple of the other mums, can you message me if there's anything important? Because I can't cope with 15 responses to whether or not someone's got this kid's sock or not. I can't do it.
Just the one sock.
So I'm going to share this with you, right? So And I'm sure people who've got 2 kids can totally connect with this, right? So when my eldest went to school, I was that mum and I wanted to make friends with all the other mums, and I was chatting in the playground and I'm very active in the WhatsApp group, everything like this, right? And then by the time the second one gets to school, I'm a little bit like, do you know what? I'm going to be polite and whatnot, but my cup's pretty full. I've got lots of friends now. I've done all of that. So I made no effort at all. With the mums in our Charlie's class, I made 0 effort, right? So I was in the WhatsApp group but didn't participate, you know, and because then that was like, it was kind of COVID time, so you didn't see them at there's no school parties and that, so I never got to know them. Anyway, then this will teach me how wrong I could be, right? So a couple of years later, after the kind of pandemic had died down and we're all back into a normal routine, I would see the mums in Charlie's class all chatting around the school gates, and Oliver's class by this point, they're getting a bit older and the mums just, you know, drop them off and hang back in the car and whatnot. So it's not as prolific. And I remember thinking, I'm going to make a bit of an effort to chat to them now, right? so then I started making an effort to chat with them, and then I was like, these mums are cool. They are, these are who I want to hang out with. And there's like a little tribe, there's 4 or 5 of them, and they're all very driven career mums. But they're all, and I remember thinking this. So when I first did like the whole, you know, when I had our Oliver and I went to all the breastfeeding groups and the bumps and babies classes and stuff like that, I always remember feeling pretty rubbish about myself because all these other mums had taken a whole year off work and their whole life was just this baby, and they would spend hours and hours talking about what shade of green the poo was, or, you know, anything like that. That was their life. And I had to go back to work after a few months, you know, and I was juggling my career, you know, and everything going on with the business and being a mother. You know, I was working part-time and straight back into work. And the more time I spent around these other women, the more of a rubbish mother I felt like, because I felt they were like Mother Earth and I wasn't good enough for that. And I wasn't, you know, and the thing is, it was my own business. So actually I chose to go back to work after that time because the business is my other baby. It was important to me. And so I always felt inadequate around other mums like that. Well, I made friends with this group of women and they're all amazing mums, but also have brilliant careers, but completely different. You know, one is she works really senior in procurement for this big company and she's like proper badass, has to deal with the blokes all day and takes no crap off them. And then another one's an author, she's really prolific author, and so she's always on a deadline, always stressed going with that. Another one's working in a small business, so she understands a lot of the pressures I get like this, and so I spend time with them and I feel brilliant about myself because I'm like, you know, we're all just trying to lift each other up and give each other a pat on the back as great mums, but also it's all right to have a career as well. And I always talk about this and I say, you've got to find your tribe.
Absolutely.
You know, you've got to find your tribe. People who lift you up and make you feel great. Like you guys have got each other, you know, you need that tribe of people who really get you, who bring out the best in you, and you don't feel rubbish or inadequate when you're around. You can't help, you know, they say comparison's the thief of joy. We cannot help but compare ourselves to other people and whatnot. And when you be with other people, when you compare yourself, you think, we're all doing good. We're all going to lift each other up and support each other.
Absolutely. I love that.
So I'm so glad you found them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We love a tribe.
You thought the shutters were down, but now they're up.
Absolutely. I love that.
More friends.
Now, something that we talked about a lot on this, and something I've had to deal with actually last week. I went away to film Escape to the Country, and Nora was really upset that I was going away for a week. There were lots of tears. There was obviously a lot of guilt. How do you suffer with mum guilt? Or how do you cope with it? Like, what is any advice is very welcome.
So let me tell you a little story, right?
Please do.
I'll go back pre-pandemic times, and I used to do about 100 flights a year. Even with the kids being little, I did a lot of traveling for work, and I used to have to go to America once a month. And what I used to do, I had the same schedule every time. I used to go over for QVC, you know, the big TV shopping channel I work with over there. And I used to take the 6 o'clock flight out of Newcastle on a Sunday morning. And it was a 22-hour door-to-door journey from leaving my house to getting there. And I would spend, of that, about 12 hours on the aeroplane, my time, because it was 3-leg. It was like hopper to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Atlanta, changing Atlanta to Tampa. And I knew that for my 4 or 5 hours on air I was going to do, it would take me about 10 hours of prep work. And I would save it up and do that prep work on the plane so that I didn't have to interrupt the rest of my time. I knew I'd have that kind of dead time in the day on the way there, right? And I always took the 6 o'clock hopper to Amsterdam, from Newcastle to Amsterdam, and then the big transatlantic. So I left on a Saturday night. I'd put the kids to bed, cuddle them in, you know, mummy's going to be gone in the morning when you wake up. But I was there and they felt safe and everything, right? And I didn't have to say goodbye to them because it was like night.
Yeah.
And then I would get up and leave in the middle of the night. Well, I remember this one day, they'd opened a direct flight from Amsterdam to Tampa, where I was flying to, which meant instead of taking the 6 o'clock hopper flight, I was taking the 9:20, which meant leaving the house at 7:30. The difference between leaving at 7:30 versus leaving at 4:30 in the morning, the kids are awake. So they were there on this Sunday morning. I had the waterworks. Don't go, mummy. Why do you have to go, mummy? Is it more important than us? Do you have to leave us? Do you not love us, mummy? Are you going to leave us behind? And then I'm like, well, mummy's got to go and earn the pennies. We don't want pennies. We just want our mummy. You know, pull on every heartstring, right? And I remember driving out of the driveway, sobbing my little heart out. I cried all the way to the airport. I got on that first hopper flight. I'm crying. I had my big dark glasses on. I'm crying. So I'm getting the phone up and I'm looking pictures of them when they were a baby, and I'm crying more because I'm convinced myself I'm a rubbish mother. So then I get on the big long haul flight, and because I feel so rubbish, I put my headphones on and try and watch a rom-com instead to lift me mood, and I'm still crying halfway there, you know. And basically what happened, I got to Tampa and I hadn't done my prep work, because I felt so rubbish, so I hadn't done any prep work. So then I get there at 11 o'clock at night, I'm shattered, and I'm having to work through the night to catch up on my prep work. So consequently, I get on air the next day, and I didn't do as good of a job of my shows as I should. And I knew, nobody else will ever have known, because you know it's like, we'll just, if we've got a half an hour to prep, or if we've got 3 hours to prep, we'll use what we've got. You know, I made it work, but I knew I hadn't done as good of a job of my job as I wanted. Yeah. And then I'm telling myself, I've let the company down. Me 250 staff, I've let all of them down, because so then I've convinced myself, not only am I this terrible mother, but now I'm a terrible boss and terrible at my job. So I feel rubbish about that. So I get on the plane home and so the whole week was a failure. And I remember just feeling like I'd failed at everything and I couldn't do anything right. And then I speak to my husband about it when I get home, and he's like, oh yeah, half an hour after you'd left, they were fine. Took them around my mum and dad's, had Sunday dinner. You know, couldn't give them monkeys. And I'm thinking, so now I've had a whole week on of doing terrible stuff and feeling horrendous. And the kids have had a wonderful time. But I know they have, because I know I've got this amazing support network in place, whether it's the grandparents, whether it's my husband's got time, or whatever it is. Like, those kids, I know they're not being compromised in their life. So what is it? It's all in my head. Yeah. It's all what I'm letting myself feel. And I made a decision then, this was about 6 years ago, that there is no place for mum guilt in my life. Yeah. I was like, it's not contributing anything positive to my life at all. It's not, by me feeling guilty, it's not making me a better mother. Arguably, it's making me worse at my job as well. Yeah. And in the same way that I have mum guilt, I have boss guilt, I have work guilt, then I have the guilt that I don't spend as much time with me investments as I want to. So I've got investor guilt. Like, it's just never ending. So I was like, doesn't service any purpose in my life. No. There's no place for it. So there's no guilt allowed to creep in. My big job is be wholly present in whatever I'm doing. You know, whatever I'm doing gets 100% of my effort. I accept that I am not as present as often as other mothers are. You know, I have to do one night, sometimes 2 nights a week. I'm away from home, and that is my life, and that's the decision I've made, and I'm living by that decision. And then I'm going to make sure that when I am home, I'm present and I'm making the best of it. I don't want to be this mum who is, you know, I've always said I don't want to be pushing the swing with one hand and doing me emails with the other. Well, you know, if I'm when they were little, if I was taking them to the park, I was fully present with them, you know. And I think that's the commitment. Quality over quantity.
Yes, being really present.
Love that.
Did it take you a while to kind of have that, when you had that kind of epiphany of like guilt is a completely wasted emotion for me? Did it take kind of, did you have to almost like retrain yourself to not feel that way? Or was it just like, I'm not doing this anymore?
What really helps me is things like this.
Yeah.
So saying it out loud. I've got to say it to me, because to me now, I really hope that other women listen to this and think, yes, I can do that. Yeah, she's right. Because when you hear me say it, nobody goes, oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Everybody goes, yes, you're totally right. But we need then people to then go and talk to their friends about it, because you need to give yourself permission to do it. And it's that the more we talk about it. So whenever I get a chance to talk, especially in public like this, and I get asked, quite often I'll go and speak at big conferences, and the topic of mum guilt always comes up. And I always share that story, because I just think the amount of mothers in the audience, and I see the moment the penny drops in their eyes, because they're thinking, yeah, that's me. And I tell you another thing I always share with them as well. I remember going to a big conference. I was speaking at a big conference, and it was December, a couple of years ago. And they asked me to do a speaking slot at like 11 o'clock in the morning. And I pushed back and I said, I need to do it after 2 p.m. Can you rejig the day around to put me later in the day? And they did. And I used to be embarrassed if it was ever something that was personal that I was changing it for, I was embarrassed to ask. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to own it. I'm going to say it. So when I got there, they said, your other meeting that you had to go to, did you manage to get sorted? And I said, wasn't another meeting, it was the kids' nativity at school.
Amazing.
And I didn't want to miss it. Yeah. But I also didn't want to miss your event. And the woman looked at me, and she just looked at us with these big eyes, and she said, I missed my kids' nativity last week, but she hadn't dared ask whatever it was to move it around. And I was like, do you know what? As a working mum, I just own that. Yeah. I own it. And it's not always can it be, but I'm going to ask if it can be moved around and dates can be shifted. And sometimes it can. You know, I remember that year I made both of the kids' school nativities, right? However, I missed sports day in the summer because it was when we were filming Dragon's Den, and I really didn't think it would wash well, me going up to Peter Jones and saying back and whatnot and being, can I have Wednesday afternoon off, guys? You're all going to basically lose the filming block because I'm going to go back and watch sports day. And I felt rubbish for missing sports day, but when I look back and I reflect on it, instead of chastising myself as a mother for missing sports day, I champion the fact that I made both of the school nativities.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes I've done things like I've had to go to school and say, because it's years 4, 5 and 6 or something, and year 4 mums were all supposed to come on one day and I couldn't make that day. So I'm like, well, can I come on Tuesday with the year 5 mums? Is that okay? So sometimes I ask the school to be flexible. You know, sometimes I ask work to be flexible, but I always try and make it work. And then when it doesn't, I know that I've tried. Yeah. And it's just a case of, you know, patting myself on the back for what I've done well, not kicking myself up the bum for what I've missed.
I think that's such an important message. I just think to hear somebody else say it like you were saying is really helpful, because you know, it's going to be my youngest, it's going to be her last sports day in the summer before she goes to big school. And, you know, the summer holidays, I always think, because then I'm going to have to ask where I work, you know, can I be more flexible? Can I work from home on some days? Because you're juggling childcare, you're doing all of that. Yeah. And I don't want to miss a sports day. But then your annual leave, the days that you get as holiday are so precious, because, you know, to actually have a day that's for myself doesn't exist. You know, I've got 2 kids, I've got a husband, and at the start of the school year, I know I've said this before on the pod, but you are literally half terms, summer holidays, Easter, inset days, and then if we can, shuffle together a week that we've actually got together as a family, great. Yeah. But, you know, if you don't ask, you don't get, right? And I think...
Exactly. And I think, like you said, Charlotte, it's so empowering to hear somebody go, just ask. Yeah. Like, I think as women, we're like, no, we've just got to kind of suffer or like, you know, don't want to upset or inconvenience anyone, but we're happy to inconvenience ourselves. But no, we need to be more like proactive about what our needs are as mothers, working mums.
And own it.
And all of that. And own it.
And let me speak as an employer, and I employ dozens and dozens of women, right?
Yeah.
And what I always see is those, especially those that have worked for me for a long time, okay, what they give me in terms of the loyalty and the dedication to my business is absolutely unrivaled.
Yeah.
And they do that because I understand them as humans and I want to work with them as humans. And, yes, I've seen staff in businesses where it's just a job and they just turn up and do the thing and go. And I always feel like the more I give my staff, the more my staff give me.
Yeah.
So you've given that example there, go and ask, and I'm sure you're not going to say, can I just have them couple of hours off, and just to forget about it? You're probably going to say, listen, I'll work on the evening, I'll make up the time. Is it all right if I can be flexible? So you're not asking the business to compromise or go without something.
Yeah.
You're asking for it to give you a little bit of flexibility. And there will be other times when you need to give it flexibility. And, you can't just pop your laptop down at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because some big contracts come and you're all working on it. So I always say it's a two-way thing, and having a great relationship, but you've got to be open and honest. It's employers we've got to start having these conversations at work and really have this narrative and empowering other women to believe they can go and have these conversations.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, Sara.
that.
Honestly, I'm definitely going to take that on board. You've really, genuinely, really helped, because to hear it from you, I think that's,
it's validating.
That's
isn't
really
it?
helped.
Yeah,
it is really validating.
Affirming. Yeah.
And also to go, you're absolutely right. It doesn't, it doesn't help anyone. The mum guilt or the work guilt or any of the guilt that comes along. So I'm going to be more Sara and say, no.
Absolutely.
No.
No.
I love this.
Guilt be gone.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the circle of trust.
Yay.
Yes, the
Sara,
circle of
this is
trust.
wonderful.
Right.
I'm loving it. I'm fitting well with you guys.
Absolutely.
Do.
Absolutely.
Now, Sara, exciting news. You've got a new podcast.
Yes. So mine's a bit different to yours, but the level of gossip is pretty much the same. Okay.
Excellent.
So me and my sister have started a podcast, okay? Now, I've been asked, goodness knows how many times over the years, would I front this podcast? Would I organise this? Would I work for this company doing a podcast? And it's just never been anything that I felt really passionate about. So I've always said no. Even people came in with really big lucrative offers. I'm like, no, it's, to me, a podcast's got to be, you've got to wear your heart on your sleeve and be open. So it's got to be something you're super passionate about. It's not just something, it can't feel like work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not going to enjoy it, therefore I'm not going to do it. And my sister talked to me. She's been kicking this idea around for years, and she said, I think we'd be brilliant between us. And we do have a lot of banter. We're not frightened to take the mick out of each other a little bit and push on that front. But we've both come at business from a totally different angle. So I started the business from scratch 20 years ago. So I know what it's like starting a business and building a business. And then I know what it's like being in a big business that's, unreal, just challenging in different ways. Then also I've spent the last 10 years investing in other businesses, both in the den and outside of the den. So I've had insight into what it's been like in other business. There's probably 20, 30 other businesses I'm involved with at any one time. And so I've got insight from their small businesses as well. And then in a different way, our Helen, she took over our family business. So she's third generation female owned. So my mum and my nana started the business together. And she took over 10 years ago. And so she's like the third generation woman running the family business. And so totally different set of challenges. She took over, and it was just the village shop. It was the decorating shop in the village, 10 years ago. And she's modernised it, taken it online. And that business is now 15 times bigger than when she took over.
That's amazing.
What an achievement.
Oh, it's honestly, she's done amazing. I'm dead proud of her. So we've both got these hugely different experiences, but loads of insight. And my whole thing is, I do wear my heart on my sleeve. I want to share my stories. And in the same way, I'm like, I want to share my mum fails and mum successes so that other people, it's the same in business. And I always think if you can learn from a failure that I've had in business, then it means you won't make that failure. Then that's been brilliant. Or if I've been successful in something and I can tell you how I've done it, it might shortcut you getting there faster. So I'm all about the more you can help other people I mean, the universe always just seems to give back tenfold over. So, and she's the same. So we wanted to share loads of stories. So, yes, so we built a little podcast studio, and it's really nice because where we're at is, so just to give you a bit of a backstory, my mum and dad, 40 odd years ago, bought the old co-op in our village. I've said that really posh, sorry. We call it the co-op, but if you're not from up north, co-op. So it's the co-op. So you know the cooperative, the stores.
Yeah, we got one at the village.
Back in the day, there was the old cooperative in the village that was like a department store. Yeah. So my dad I would say it was my dad who drove it. My mum went along with it, but it was my dad's harebrained idea to basically put every penny they had on the line and buy the old co-op in the village. And they turned it into the decorating shop downstairs and flats upstairs, and we had to live in there. They just had me. I was a baby. So we moved into them premises, and then because we couldn't afford to live somewhere else, so then he had to use the money from rent to like do the next one all the time. So that was our family home. Wow. And then when, as the business got bigger, they became more successful. They built a bungalow on the ground, like in the car park essentially, and a bungalow for my nana and granda as well. So I grew up with my nana and granda next door. The family business was like a stone's throw. My grandma, my dad's mum, she lived in one of the flats in the business. So we were all, it was like our little family empire.
That's amazing.
Because when Crafters Companion started, we were all built in that. They had one of the offices, we built our offices in there. We were in there until we had about 40, 50 staff before we had to move to somewhere bigger. And that's now where our Helen runs the family business, the shop downstairs and all the offices upstairs. Well, that's where we've put the podcast studio. So it's brilliant because sometimes we'll go to my mum's on a Sunday for Sunday dinner, and, she can watch the kids and we can just nip upstairs in the studio and go and record that week's episode.
Excellent.
Amazing.
So it's lovely family feel, and it's great because we will have a bit of banter, a bit of crack, but there's loads. I love the feedback we've had from people is, yes, it's for those who are small business owners or entrepreneurs or interested in that sort of stuff, it's been brilliant. But also just a lot of women especially listening to it, learning a bit more about business. It's a little bit like Dragon's Den. I always said, you don't have to have a business to really enjoy watching Dragon's Den. It's just interesting for everybody. Yes. And it's the same with the podcast. So many people are finding it really interesting, but you'll laugh. So we start off every episode with, how's your week going? And our Helen is like bloody doom and gloom. So, how's your week going? And she'll be like, we've had another pay rise from a supplier, or, our landlord's doubled our rent. It's all really serious business stuff. But, I mean, her glass isn't half empty. There's blood out in it, right? And then she'll be like to me, how's your week been? I would be like, I was down in London on the One Show, my life sounds really glamorous and exciting. I mean, I got a belt one for the other day. I was in, I think it was when I was at Radio 2, I'd sent a little photo from behind the scenes on our WhatsApp group with our producer and everything like that, and our Helen came back and said, I can't believe it. She was at a bloody baby class singing Wind the Bobbin Up, and she said, you're meeting a bloody Spice Girl.
I love
when
that.
I talked about it on the podcast, I was like, do you know what? And what I did was, I always have a nice learning. Whatever has gone on, I've always got a nice learning to share with the audience to take something away.
I love that.
What's it like working with your sister? And also, which Spice Girl did you meet?
I met the sporty one.
I love Melcy.
Cool. Stunning.
And do you know what was really
so cool?
So we hung out on the Friday morning because I was her warm-up act on Radio 2 is how I positioned it. She was the slot after me. But then a week later, I was in this morning and I'm like, oh my God, she was on 10 minutes after me again. I was like, we've got to stop meeting like this now.
That is so cool.
It was brilliant.
That's so cool.
No, it's good. But in terms of working with our Helen, it's interesting because in so many regards, her and I are like the same person. We're so similar on so many fronts, but then on others, we're like polar opposites. And the thing with me is I'm quite I'm polite and happy and positive and and I think she's just not in a lot of regards. And so we have this constant. that's where we clash on top of each other. And I just want everybody to be, I don't like conflict, so I never have words with anyone. Whereas I'm not frightened to with her because it's a safe space to my sister.
Yeah.
So sometimes we're not frightened to go at it a little bit, and if we don't agree, usually, see, if you said something to me now and I didn't agree, I'd just go, oh, yeah, lovely. Yeah. Right? I wouldn't push on it. Whereas if she says it and I don't agree, I'll go, well, I think that's rubbish. I think you've got the wrong end of the stick.
Oh, I love that.
Absolutely shouldn't be doing this.
What's like
so I'll give her a bit of what
What's
for.
the year gap between the two of you? How far are you apart in age?
There's 4 years between us. But do you know what's really interesting? I think because people always say to me, like, since I started doing a bit more TV work, they're like, oh, it's like you're anti-aging. They said, I look at you on your 6th season of Dragon's Den and you look younger than you did on your 1st season. And it's not that I'm any younger or whatever. It's just that I've got a stylist now and hair and makeup people, and I've learned what hair extensions are. And I've always got my fake eyelashes on. That sort of thing. That's what I've learned. And so... But when I go out with our Helen, people quite often will ask us now, oh, who's the older one? Well, of course, I love this. I absolutely love it. She hates me. So now at the start of the podcast, welcome to Mind Your Business with Sara. And she goes, and her younger sister, Helen.
She's got that written in now. I love it.
Oh, there's something very special about the sibling relationship, and just like you say, being able to say things that you just couldn't say to anyone else.
I know. And sometimes I just get the look from you. We're sitting across the table from each other and she'll just be giving me this scowling look because she won't agree with something. And then she'll take the mickey out of us for something. I'll get a bit defensive and I'll say, well, I know you're laughing at it. And she doesn't stop. And she goes, well, I am, because you're being ridiculous. And she's at it with us. And it's interesting because my brother-in-law does like the... I don't know, whatever these tech people do to make it so that you can hear what we say. So he's on the computer with the headphones on. I just rock up every week. We record on a Tuesday morning quite often. I just rock up and I'm like, oh, I haven't charged my iPad. Can you print out the notes, Helen? What are we talking about this? Oh, yes, I've got loads to say on that. And then I just go off on one. She's like, they've had to do all the planning and the prep and make sure all the cameras are, charged up and everything like this. And then my brother-in-law sits in the studio and keeps us all right. And quite often he'll agree with me on stuff. Oh. So, she might be talking and that's not right. And he's on the screen going, love
that.
So we do have a laugh.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, it sounds wonderful.
Sara, what we're going to do now is we've got a section that we like to call Overheard in the Playground. And it's basically gossip that we've overheard and we like to dissect it. So this week, our Vix has got a story. Vix, what have you heard?
Hear ye, I have the tea. Okay. So basically, I told Matt this last night and he was like, what? Oh. So a friend of a friend was going on holiday with her husband a couple of weeks ago, and they had to leave at 4:00 in the morning because their flight was like at 7. And they've got a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, right? And the babysitter wasn't coming until 11 a.m. in the morning, and they left them alone from 4 a.m. till 11.
What? They were how old?
How old? 7 and 9. I know.
Were they asleep? So they would have woken up. So they hold on. 4 a.m. right? Hold on. I've already forgotten the start. So 4 a.m.
4 a.m.
So they would have woken up.
They got
to
up
an
and
empty
left.
house.
Yes.
No.
I mean, obviously they've prepped them and they knew it was going to happen, but still, like, leaving a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, unless they're like, I don't know, what was that, Dr. Doogie Howser, genius, or like, that kind of level of maturity. I'm
not judging, but I am.
I am judging. I'm fully judging.
It's Sara. Really bad though. True story.
I can't. So mine are 9 and 12.
Yeah.
And they won't even let me leave them in the house 5 minutes to nip round the shop to get a blooming pint of milk. You know, they're like, you can't leave us in the house, Mummy, we're just children. I was like, I'm just running around the shop. You can't leave us in the house, Mummy. I can't imagine. I can't.
I'd be so frightened. I'd be so worried.
There's like one thing nipping to the shop, but to wake up to an empty house. I mean, my kids would be waking up all through the night thinking, have you gone yet? Have you gone yet? Have you gone yet? You know, just no.
That's 7 hours on their own. And there's so many like things that, I mean, nothing could go wrong, but everything could go wrong. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It only takes one like little mistake to turn into an absolute disaster. So
I couldn't do it.
I just thought it was really bad.
I think it is.
Well, I think that's really not good. When I was away last week, Nora, of course, had tonsillitis, so she was off school.
Of course.
Just to really load on the mum guilt of me being away. And Steve was like, I have to walk the dog. I need to be careful saying this because the dog's next to me. I have to walk the dog. Sorry, he didn't move. I have to walk the dog. And Nora was like, yeah, but I, she was feeling really poorly. She didn't want to leave the house. And he said, well, I'll just take him around the block. Like, I'll be, 5-10 minutes just to stretch his legs. So Nora's 10, nearly 11. And she was like, no, you can't leave me in the house by myself.
Oh, bless her.
And Steve was like, okay, that's fine. We'll go and play some stuff in the garden with him. But like, 7 hours, waking up in the house on their own, that's so little.
Yeah.
So small.
Yeah. I mean, I leave my two. I leave my two if I've got to pop to the shop, things like that. But there's no way that I would leave them to wake up to an empty house. I think that's too little at 7 and 9. Yeah.
You organise them to have a sleepover, or you hire somebody if you have to, come round and make sure that they're greeted when they get up in the morning and they feel safe. Because I thought that was incredibly selfish, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very much judging.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, guys, we are actually judging.
Yeah. We are actually, I think that's the first one.
I was going to say, I'm sure you guys give me the brief. You're not judging, but...
we totally are.
We are this time.
We are this time.
Now it's time for Between You and Me, our listeners' chance to spill the beans or ask us for our advice. Sara, we've already seen that you're incredibly good at giving advice, so I'm looking forward to this. We've had a voice note from Helen in London, so let's have a listen.
Hello, I have a subject that's quite close to my heart at the moment, and it's all to do with resilience. So one of the teachers at my kids' school keeps telling me that my son needs more resilience, and I totally get it. I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, so I understand what resilience is. But how do you teach it? Thanks.
That's a good question.
Wow.
Yeah, that is
how
a really
do you
good
teach
question.
resilience? Do you know, it's made me reflect and think, am I making my two resilient enough? And I think I probably am with the youngest one, because he's the youngest one. They get dragged up, don't they? Whereas I look at the oldest one, I think, I probably wrapped him in cotton wool way too much. And he's, that's the price they're going to pay. They're not going to be resilient enough. And I just think it comes back to this whole point of you have to be prepared to be the parent and do the really difficult stuff. And not just get, we have the constant battle in our house over the mobile phone. They're not allowed mobile phones, and also they want to be on their iPad all the time. And sometimes it would just be so easy to take the easy route.
Yes.
And just, have that. But you're not helping them by doing that. You've got to do the hard stuff. And I think the only way we can teach them to be resilient is to force them into situations where they've got to be uncomfortable. I mean, I had a little bit of a barmy with the in-laws. So we have a place in Spain, and quite often we'll go out there, and it's big enough that we have all the family then. They love it when we have all the grandparents. But then if the kids, sometimes in the school holidays, we'll fly out and take Simon's parents with us, and then we'll come back home and work for a week and leave the kids over there with them, and then we'll come back out and have another week on holiday, all of us. And I found out that whenever we come back, the kids will say, will you sleep with us? So next thing I know, Grandad John's in sleeping with one and Grandma Val's in sleeping with the other. And I'm like, You can't do that. You know, they need to learn to sleep on their own. They can't have people sleeping in with them all the time. And then I found it's made a rod for my back, because then when I'm out there with them, can you sleep with me, Mummy, and Daddy sleep with him? And I'm like, no. If you want a bit of company, you sleep with each other. You know, you can share a bed. You together. That's why we're But no, we're not just doing that. And they looked, you know, I remember Oliver looking at us like I had three heads, as if like, why would you not do that? And I guess for the grandparents, I bet they love it. They get to cuddle in with the grandkids all night and whatnot, but they're just not teaching them the resilient skills of, you know, I'm in a different house, I'm a little bit unsettled. We've got to teach them to be settled, not take away what's unsettling them, because now I'm not teaching them anything at all on how to look after themselves. And so I think it's just it's you've got to take, unfortunately, you've got to take that difficult path.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think also as well, like, sort of really being obvious with them and showing them this is hard, but it's going to happen, and it will be okay in the end. Like, we'll get through it together. You know, you might have to go through some of it by yourself, but, you know, and kind of really highlight to them, look what you did. Nora really struggles going into school in the morning. She gets really upset. But I always say to her when I pick her up in the evening, that was really hard, but look how brave you were, and you did it and you overcame it. Because I think if you kind of really kind of demonstrate to them, make it really obvious that they're doing that, because otherwise they don't really understand that they've done anything particularly special, or they won't realise actually, that was hard, but I did get through it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So really making it as obvious as possible.
I always think with my two, to try and teach them to be resilient, I always think that, like, if something happens, I try not to go in and fix the problem straight away, which is really difficult for me, because I am a fixer. I just want to make it better for them, especially when you've got like front row seats to something that they're going through, and it's always worse to see them go through it than you go through it yourself. Do you know what I mean? And like having girls as well, like, you know, I was a girl once, and it's, you know, that age and all of the things that happen.
Long time ago.
And you just want to make it all better, don't you? You just want to make it all go away, make it all better. But they've got 100%. To go through it to get the resilience and to learn from it and to fall down, to get back up again. And you just kind of have to just watch it happen and not try and fix it all. Very difficult, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And we really hope that helps, Helen. And we hope you've enjoyed our unqualified friendly advice today. Please keep sending in your dilemmas. We love trying to help. Drop us a line at imnotjudgingbutpod@gmail.com, or DM us a voice note on Instagram at imnotjudgingbutpod. Now, to finish this off, Sara, we like to ask every guest at the end of the podcast to finish this sentence: I'm not judging, but, and they say one thing that winds them up, roughly within the realm of parenting. So, for example, you might say, I'm not judging, but why do kids always hand you their rubbish like you're some sort of human bin? It's incredibly frustrating. What would you say to that, Sara?
Okay, so you three, being girl mums, probably aren't going to get this so much, but I'm thinking all the boy mums out there will, right? So I'm not judging, but it's not acceptable for my house to just smell like an absolute pit from the second you walk through the door, right? It's the football boots, and then it's the fact that these boots just come off and they go there, and then these kids, they just drag in the shower, and then we've got stuff festering at the bottom of their school bag, and it's not acceptable. So I am judging them kids. You know, I can't wait till the kids get old enough that they are absolutely going to start and take responsible for their own personal hygiene.
That's a great one.
Boys.
Yeah, any boy mums listening are going to be nodding away, going, yes, we get it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Sara. Honestly, it's been an absolute joy. And I am very much going to be taking on a lot of your advice. So thank you for that. Now, where can we find you? Where can we find your pod? Give us all your deets.
Yes. Well, go and listen to the podcast, because I'm dying to know what everybody thinks. So it's Mind Your Business. So
love that.
Mind Your Business.
Mind Your Business podcast. Yep, Mind Your Business with Sarah and Helen. And then also we're on Instagram, MYBpod_, or you can go and find the website and email us if you want to get involved. But if you want to follow me on socials, that me pancake recipe is on me Instagram and me Facebook and me TikTok. Okay. Just look for Sara Davies CC. CC is because my business was Crafter's Companion. So Sara Davies CC, and all things like me little, pancake pan hack and things like that. I'm very much a heart on the sleeve type list on socials. You see us as it is.
Thanks again, Sara, and thanks Charlie and Vix. Love you loads. We'll be back next time with more. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye. Bye.